Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Sarasota Tim. That's the name of my channel. Obviously, my name is Tim. I'd like to introduce new people to my channel, what I am and what I'm about. Most of the people that watch me are regular viewers, but the channel has been growing and has been growing very fast. And there's a lot more than the numbers even represent. There's some kind of an anomaly going on, but many people watch this channel and I really appreciate each and every one. So if you're new to my channel, I want to define who I am. I am someone that started doing YouTube in 2017, and I started out, I had a truck, a Toyota truck, a 4Runner, to be honest with you. It was an SUV, not a truck. And I started doing some modifications to it, and I found that there's a community out there that absolutely loves those vehicles, as they do Corvettes and everything else you can imagine. So I had a few people started to check me out because the titles of my videos were 4Runner. And I've got subscribers right now that have been with me since those days. And in those days, when I first started out, I had an apartment, a condo. I was in a collaboration with someone, and then, you know, the whole world changed. Our country changed. We had this thing called a pandemic. And after that, some changes in my life happened. I became unemployed. I retired actually, but I was forced into it due to the pandemic because we couldn't stand next to each other. My business for 33 years was standing right in your face. I was a salesman. I went around door to door selling automotive service booklets that introduced you to a business that entitled you for very, very low cost, a lot of services for your car that you could go in for the whole year and do. And it was an advertising promotion to build new customers for a business. I did it for 33 years. I was very good at it. I did it in 2 or 3 different states. And it was something like being a cook or a waiter or a barber or something you can go anywhere and do. I wasn't a kind of person that had a job that worked for the county or the city, and I stayed there 30 years and never moved around, never saw anything else except on vacations. So my life is different than a lot of people, and the same as many, because I hear it in my comments. So after the pandemic, and I decided I'm not going to pay these high rents that the landlords were starting to charge, I bought an RV. This is my newer one now. I started with a smaller one. And I've had some RVs in my life when I lived in California that I used to go to the desert. I used to be a desert rat. I had a dune buggy, a sand rail we called them. And, but you know, fast forward to after the pandemic, I became a minimalist. And I am still today a self-proclaimed minimalist. And I want to define for those that are confused about what minimalism is. Now, you can live in your van, you can live in a car, you can live under a bridge, you can live in a camper, you can do a lot of things and call yourself a minimalist. Some people want to pigeonhole a minimalist because of what they define a minimalist to be. Did you know that there are people, and lots of them, in the most recent years that have gone from McMansions down to 3 and 4 bedroom homes, and from 4 cars to 2, and 10 credit cards to 2, and mowing their own grass and doing different things like that, and they call themselves minimalist. They call it minimalist living or less is more. They've gone from paying all these fees to different people to come out and service their properties, and money they used to spend, or travel they used to do, or vehicles they used to drive that were more thirsty. They weren't as economical, or they were old and they were putting a lot of money in repairs. And so they decided, you know what? I'm going to sell this McMansion. I'm going to take this money I got. I'm going to buy this and that. I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to own it. I'm going to have no debt. And I'm up in my years. I'm in the final chapters of my life as I am. I'm 66. I'm going to be 67. and they still call themselves a minimalist. Some people start out, let's go the other way. Some people start out where they don't have the money. They didn't have a McMansion to sell and to buy a bunch of stuff that's less than what they had, because they want to be more minimal. They want to have the philosophy that many are adopting is less is more. Less employees, less locations of their business. Everybody downsizing, minimalism, whatever you want to call it. I am a minimalist. If you look around me right here, you'll see I live in an RV park. I live in an RV park that doesn't have any, well, it has a few, really large amenities that demand a very high lot rent. This is probably as cheap as you can get it, within a few $100s of living out where, you know, you're away from the city and you have no city near you. I like being near stuff, and I'm in Florida and I'm near the beach, and those are the things that I demand for my own life that I must have. At 66 years old, I am not going to live in a van. Okay, so there's a lot of people that start out with minimalism, and they end up, after they retire and get on Social Security and get them a side hustle, maybe a YouTube channel, or they know how to, they have a trade, they know different things they can do to make money as a side hustle, like plumbing, electrical, automotive repair, auto detailing. A lot of people make more money in their retirement years than they ever did working. And then they get rid of all their debt, and now all their money is just being saved. And that's kind of what I did. I was never a poor person. I worked for myself for 33 years, and it was a very lucrative business. I made good money, and I saved my money because I was a roommate for most of my recent years, because after I got divorced when I was much younger, I haven't been married for many, many years, I rented a room from somebody, because I would rather spend my money traveling and doing different things. I bought a couple of Harleys, a Gold Wing, and what people would spend on an apartment or a mortgage or lawnmower bills, Home Depot bills, or pool maintenance, and all these other things that people spend money on. I spent my money on me, on travel, on seeing the country and meeting people. And I'm a very youthful kind of a guy. So I hit some success when I retired. I already had saved some money. And then I became a, what I would call for me, a successful YouTuber. Nowhere near like, you know, the popular ones, the Beast and all that. I'm not saying that, but it is a supplement source of income, along with the savings that I had and my Social Security, that's enabled me, and my knowledge and skills of buying and selling and upgrading my vehicles that I had, and I sold them and traded, and then I sold my camper and traded, and had a very low cash difference with no additional fees. And I was able to maneuver and move my money around and move my life around to now, you know, because I didn't want to live and die in a 16-foot camper, and I didn't want to drive a car that got 8 miles per gallon, or that didn't pull the camper that I would rather have. So I would like to say this too in the middle of this video, that I am a Christian, and I do not hang my head when I say it. I make videos in my channel talking about God and Jesus Christ routinely. And most of my life, all of my life, I should say, I give honor and glory to the Father, because it's Him that has done all of these things for me. We reap what we sow in this world. If you sow good seed, you're going to grow a good crop. And I've done my best to sow good seed as I've matured and moved on from things that I used to say and do and the way I used to think. I'm a different person now. I'm the same, but I'm different. And so God has really opened doors for me in ways that I didn't even think were possible. When I was 33 years in business for myself, and I did very well in a very lucrative business, I figured that was a blessing. I had no idea that blessings could get even higher. I mean, I knew it, but I didn't expect it, and now I get it. And then after I got the camper, I get a new car, I get a new truck, I trade the one I have, and now here I am. And will I go higher? I hope to, because I'm in that stage of life where, you know, how many more years does a person have? I mean, nobody's promised tomorrow. I mean, you could be hit by a bus today, but in a normal lifespan, a person is going to be 67 years old is not looking, if you have a normal long life, is not looking at such a long runway as I did when I was 25, 35, or even 45. I'm 67 here soon, and I want my best life. And so recently I made some more changes. I started a carnivore diet. And let me just tell you right now, it works. And I feel great. And I'm not hungry. And I don't need cereal and Lay's potato chips. I don't need those carbohydrates. I don't need tomatoes. I don't need lettuce. I don't need those things that have been preached to us. I don't need Stalin pills. That's a statin. I don't need blood pressure pills. I don't need aspirin. All I need is the blessings from God, good exercise, and a proper human diet. And then the rest is up to me, how I live, the seed that I sow. And I've tried to do the best I can do. And look, you can see that people in these nice neighborhoods, I live in South Florida, in these beautiful suburbs with these beautiful entrances that cost more money to make than I ever made in my life. Water fountains and walls and trees and foliage. You ever seen those places? Then you go in, you got an armed security guard, and you go through the gate if you're lucky enough to go in one, and it's just reeking of money. I mean, the electric bill for some of these houses are more than it costs me to live every month. So when you compare something like that, and even a lot less, to how I'm living, blessed with a storage shed. I mean, I really hit it good here, and a low rent lot. Blessed to have a truck that just gets driven to pull this. It went across country with it once. It's got some more pulling to do, and it's ready and willing and able to go. It's a 2024. And then every day that people go around and hit these gas stations for $3 or $4 a gallon, of course, it's much lower now, thank God. I have a hybrid car that I bought that I figured, even though it's a more expensive motor to buy and as an option, I have a 45 mile per gallon vehicle here, and it says Honda. The most popular selling vehicle in the entire United States of America are F-Series Ford trucks. So the best RV camper, towable camper, that can be pulled with a 1/2 ton to 3/4 ton truck without a diesel engine, the very best floor plan, the very best build, the very best of everything, and I've shown it on many videos, is this Flagstaff 25 FKBS. So yes, God has blessed me. He's blessed me with a mind. I used to be in the car business for 17 years to know about values and quality cars and to how to buy one, and about trucks. And of all the reviews and things I've always done and owned a few RVs and lived in them actually, I know a good one when I see one. And I've done my research before I bought it. And I have the best. Even down to the grill I bought for $279 versus a $49 or a $59 Walmart expert grill with a chicken wire gate for a grill. This has ceramic grills. And I'm a carnivore guy and I eat a lot of meats. And I want to be able to cook it properly. And I don't necessarily want to stink up a very small camper inside when I don't have to. So I make these decisions on how I'm living my life. And I call myself a minimalist. I am up from the vehicle I had. I have more vehicles now. And I'm not burning gas in that all the time. I have to have that or something like it. And I want something relatively new so that if I do travel with it, because that's my bucket list in life, is to travel the United States. I don't want to be broke down on the side of the road with a transmission or brakes or something that went out, wheel bearings or whatever other mechanical things can happen. So I have that, and I have a basically a new camper that has, you know, less than 10,000 miles on the axles and wheels. And then to save money, to do my running around, which is 99% of the time lately, I have this car here to go around. And yeah, I could have bought like an old $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 car. Now, back in my day when I was in the car business, that was a pretty good car, actually. You could buy a pretty nice car. In fact, you could buy a very nice car if you're willing to buy like a Mercury Marquis or, you know, some kind of a bigger car like that with a V8 motor. But I chose to buy this. Yes, these are all depreciating items, okay, as far as assets go. The truck is never going to be worth tomorrow what it's worth today. Well, that wasn't always true in the car business since the pandemic. Some people sold their cars for more than they paid for them. But I bought mine afterwards. But it is insured. It is going to bring some money back. It isn't a total loss. And I have usage value. And I'm not thinking about selling. So what difference does it make? If I bought a home or a camper and it went up or down, what do I care? I'm not selling it. I'm living in it. I'm using it. And as far as a depreciating item goes, for the money I'm saving on rent from an apartment today, these poor folks out there, these young people and older, that are paying $2,000 a month to live in a box that's not any nicer than the inside of that camper, I'm paying less than half of that to live right here, and this is my home. So I get a rebate back every month that affords me to be able to have something like this and like that, a nice grill. And that's what I got. And I shop at Walmart and BJ's Wholesale for my clothing. And I don't get cheap either, like I don't on my cars or my camper when it comes to footwear. I spend a lot of money on some footwear because I can afford it, because I didn't spend it and throw it away on a lawnmower or a guy to come cut my grass or clean my pool for me. Now, if you have the money and that's the life you live and you know that's the way you want to go, then you do you. But I am a minimalist, but I am not a minimalist that some people want to pigeonhole and say has to live with no electricity or maybe with a generator, go get your own water, find a way to get rid of your own waste and, you know, that kind of living. No, I'm still doing the same thing I did over 2 years ago with a smaller camper. And I never looked back because I find a lot of fun in it. And I'm still able to use money that I don't have to give to somebody else, like a landlord, to be able to go if I want to go, to be able to buy these shoes that I have on my feet, because that money is my money and I'm smart with my money. So sometimes, you know, people want to mock or scoff and say, minimalism, haha. Well, look, go around these neighborhoods, any state, especially South Florida, and then come back and look at this. In fact, you've got other side of the coin there where some people think that this is a low life living. And there are people that live like this that have a very old junky camper. Maybe they've got problems with drugs and alcohol, and they want to stereotype anybody that lives in an RV. But if you look around me, I've got the smallest one in here and probably not even a third of the price of what some of these fifth wheels in here are. And this is a huge place. There's many more than are parked in this area where I'm at. But I'm very happy and appreciative of my beautiful giant RV slab and this camper and my nice truck and my car and no debt. No debt except 5 teeth that I just had put in my head, of which I got a no interest for a year or two loan on for my health. And there is no insurance to cover that, so I had to do it. And so I have that over my head, and I could pay it, but if it's not going to cost me anything at all, not another penny, until that day comes, maybe I'll make some more money. Maybe something will happen with YouTube. Maybe something will change in my life. Maybe one of you watching me will put me in your will. Just kidding. But I mean, anything can happen, or something to the bad can happen where I need that money for something else, for a repair, for an unseen thing. So that's the way I think. I don't like carrying that debt, but there's no interest on it. and I put it off many years, but I had 5 crowns put in my mouth. And so each step that I do is thought out, each thing that I do, and I try to bring it to YouTube and share regarding collecting Social Security at 62, how you get more money than you do if you wait 5 years and get older and sicker for a few $100 more. I show the floor plan of my camper and how if you want to buy one, and you know, I will do walkarounds on my truck and my car. If you're thinking about doing something like that, maybe you're going to downsize, you know, from a McMansion or a bigger home, and you're ready to, you know, start traveling and living a life. You know, there's as many people in RVs that live this travel life, and I need to do more of it. I've been kind of grounded lately, as that have boats in Florida. You know how many people own a boat in Florida? A boat, a jet ski, a pontoon boat, a race boat, a yacht, a sport fisher. Almost everybody. You know how many people have swimming pools in Florida? Quite a few. And so, you know, people are doing their best life, and I'm doing mine. And I could get a condo. I could rent an apartment. I could sell one of these vehicles, and I would. If I got rid of this and I lived in a condo, I wouldn't need this, right? But then the money would still be the same because I'd be paying more, even though I cash out of that and this. It would just be all drawn down, giving to some landlord every month, just drawing my money down. And so I feel I'm doing pretty good, actually. I'm doing very good. I'm happy. And whether it would be the thing that you would do, that's up to you. Whether you think it's right or wrong, that's up to you, the way you think. But this video is mainly to clarify, what is a minimalist? A minimalist can be defined, some people think that a 4-bedroom house is minimalism because they used to live on the ocean in a McMansion. You see what I'm saying? So don't pigeonhole anybody or mock or scoff at anyone that claims to be whatever they want to do. They're living their life. You're living your life. There's 7 billion people on the planet. And you know what? If you have a roof over your head, food in your belly, and a car to drive, you're a rich person. Very rich, even as a minimalist. So just be grateful for what you have, and don't worry about what other people have or don't have, or how you're better than them, or you're envious of them. Don't covet thy neighbor. If you want something like this, or you want to be on the ocean and live in a McMansion, then work for it. Get it. You know, everything is possible. People that think that it's not possible, well, they're defeated before they start. But anyway, I want to thank you very much for being a subscriber to the Sarasota Tim YouTube channel. I appreciate you very much leaving your comments and your likes and sharing my videos with others. There's a lot more to come. This was just something this morning I just felt incumbent to talk about. My clarity is so good with this carnivore diet. I feel so good. Don't I look good? I mean, look, I look at myself. I'm looking at myself right now. I got to tell you, I'm not embarrassed to tell you. I look good, you know, from what I was looking at. I don't mean to be in vain. I'm saying the weight loss, the muscular build, the neck, the puffiness, the inflammation, just the whole clarity and the attitude that I have. I feel and look great. And that's all part of positive thinking too. Have confidence in yourself. So if you'd like to keep watching videos like this and be inspired, and I'd like to share them with others, I really appreciate that too. Please hit the like button. That definitely helps me out. I also have links in the description box of all my videos where you can support the channel. You can actually buy things on Amazon if you do that already, and I could be supported through you using my link. And guess what? You don't have to spend an extra penny for that product. All you gotta do is click on my Amazon link, go shop till you drop. I do not require or ask anyone to join anything, to get any special videos from me. There's no memberships. This is just me showing you everything, doing everything, and there's a couple of links there that you can choose to support if you choose, if you wish to. So thanks again very much, everybody, and until then, please remember that there's only one thing in life you need to do, and that's to thank God for everything, every day, all day, and to keep crushing it.